So the final area of my spiritual community is, as you probably guessed, my home church. So um, this is as every believer needs, as Scripture tells us. We need to we need to be a member of that body, that local body, and representation of Christ's work and love in us and in that corporate sense. So yeah, my home church, Pulpit Rock, here in Colorado Springs, is great. It's actually so I became a believer at 22. So it's been a number of years now. Um, but this was the first church that I visited actually after becoming a believer. So it's very important to me. And even more so, the first person that I met on my first day in church was the woman who I am now married to, acting as a greeter that day. So, well, it took us a few years before we actually started dating and then became engaged and everything like that. And it's just another way that my investment in this local body is just huge. So many important events and just happenings in my life have taken place and are rooted in this church. My small group, they're all from here. It's the place that I work at, and my wife's family, they went here for a number of years, even though they don't anymore. But we're a relatively large church. We have about 900 members here, but I know so many of the people here, and even though they're not my small group, because I've been here for the last almost 9 years, I've gotten to know so many people, and there's different ways that we're all invested in one another. And even though a lot of people I don't see except for that once a week on Sunday, there's enough communication and investment in one another that stop and talk, and even if it's only for a couple of minutes, we generally pick up where we left off, and seeing, hey, how are you doing with XYZ struggle that we talked about last time? How's your family doing? How's work doing? I remember you were talking about the struggle that you were having, or the success that you were having, or something big that's coming down the road. So that's something I really appreciate about my home church, because there's even from the pulpit down to our cafe, there's a we've created and fostered this culture of, even though we're somewhat big, we like to focus small, and really have those one-on-one moments. We're a church that is, our community is, well, we have that those corporate worship times. We are a church that is small group driven and small group focused as far as our community and connection engagement kind of focus. So actually, 82% of our congregation is in a small group, which is pretty amazing, especially considering that we only have a group drive and sign up once a year. And the retention for people staying in a small group throughout the year is really well. There's like a 5% drop off. So all that to say, this is the place where I'm at most of the week. While I really strive to focus outside of the walls of this church, at the same time, like this is where most of my focus is at a lot of the time. My wife works here. My daughter's in daycare here. We have a lot of friends that work here, and then on the weekend and various points throughout the week, the hundreds of friends that I have, and that we intentionally engage with are here. So I volunteer in children's ministry, so I'm invested in kids' lives, invested in our missions department, and as much as I'm invested in all these things, there's a feedback into my life in helping me to grow and grow outside of myself, and also grow actually outside of the walls of the building, and have that more global focus that God has. So yeah, that about wraps up my spiritual community. Thanks.